all of the political ads, has political rhetoric gotten out of control? We all remember what happened in Tucson a year ago when a gunman opened fire at a public appearance by Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords. At the time, many questioned whether a partisan atmosphere full of angry rhetoric contributed to the situation.
In fact, the University of Arizona decided to set up the National Institute for Civil Discourse in wake of the Tucson shootings to answer those questions.
So 1 year later, has the rhetoric cooled?
Our guest today actually helped set up and now heads the Institute for Civil Discourse. We're joined by Brent Millward. Thank you so much for being here. You're still heading this up. I know you're in the process of looking for a new person to head up this institute. How vital is it?
I think it's incredibly vital, and we just went through a tremendous anniversary, first anniversary, and one of the things that I'm often asked is, why did you do this? And what does this have to do with the shooting? And in the book that came out just on the anniversary of the shootings in Tucson, was a wonderful statement in the book called Together We Thrive. And it said that process, the process of reflection, of making sure we align our values with our actions, that I believe is what a tragedy like this requires. If this tragedy prompts reflection and debate, as it should, let's make sure it's worthy of those we've lost. Because only a more civil and honest public discourse can help us face up to the challenges of our nation in a way that would make them proud.
That's beautiful.
It's heavy. It's something definitely I think everyone needs to ponder. After the shooting, of course, there was a lot of anger over a comment that Sarah Palin had made about Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords' district being in the crosshairs of things.
Well, that was on her website. But,
right.
You know, I think one of the things that we're looking at and that people reflected on after the tragedy was incivility. And basically vitriol, hyperbole, the politics of personal destruction. This is something that we certainly see in the Republican presidential primary, where really it's turned into a circular firing squad, where everybody is sort of trying to take out everybody else. Some people talked about civility and then they gave up on it.
Yeah, so many people agree with you on our Facebook page. Patty Swanson Cooper, she writes, I think people forget that we are the United States. Politics have become so mean-spirited that we are starting to look like the divided states.
Ellie Raykoff says, as much as I want to see a return to civility, I can't help but wonder if we're missing the point. This crime was committed by a severely mentally ill person whose access to such an efficiently deadly weapon was way too easy.
Nicholas LaMonica on Facebook, I would love to hear a political candidate talk about what they themselves dream about, hope for, and attempt to accomplish, and ignore the other candidates, other than perhaps a tip of the hat for a good idea or the other candidate has had, or just wish them well in their own attempt to try to better this nation.
Now, these Republican candidates have said they want to refrain from negative campaigning, but you still have these super PACs who say they are far removed from the candidates themselves, who are still spewing a lot of vitriol.
Well, even some of the candidates are spewing vitriol as well. I mean, the super PACs are a unique problem and certainly have made this round of elections much more vitriolic. But the candidates themselves aren't backing away from it either. We see this all the time. You see a candidate like Newt Gingrich who says, I'm not going to go negative, and then he gets hammered. And he says, well, negative. I think I'll rethink that.
Yeah. Well, you know, again, it's the tempo and it's the mood. We're going to continue this dialogue in just a moment. We want to keep rolling on ABC 15 now.
A pint-sized actress